Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Still Toad, and today I'm going to be talking about holotropic breathwork and why it could possibly not be working, and also how to optimize holotropic breathwork. Okay, so it's like this. Hyperventilating is not the wholeness, it's not the entirety of how holotropic breathwork works. Okay? So if you, I'll give you an example. If you're in a really upset mood, and you just start hyperventilating in your room, trying to get in a better mood, what is going to happen is you'll feel lightheaded and still angry, and you will not get the euphoric effect, or the deep effect, or the shadow work-like effect. Okay, so, yeah. It's like this, okay? You have to actually try to get in the flow of holotropic breath work for it to work after a while. The first time you ever do holotropic breath work, you could literally just hyperventilate, and it would be just as effective, basically, as if you were to sink into the experience, almost, because your brain isn't used to what happens when you hyperventilate. But after the second or third, or maybe even fourth time, you'll have to sink into the experience as much as you possibly can. Okay? So in order to do this, you would have... Okay, this is how you optimize your holotropic breath work, and also how you get it to work again if it is no longer really working for you. Man, magnets are weird. They stick to wood sometimes. Anyway, so this is how you optimize holotropic breath work. First, before you even start the holotropic breath work, you're going to need to stay away from people for a while. In my opinion, I like doing it alone. I'm kind of a loner that way. I like working alone, doing things alone, and being alone a lot of the time, but I'm also a very social person. So I'm an introverted. Anyway, so yeah. How you optimize it is you're going to want to be alone for a while, and you're going to want to clear your energy, then calm down, and really get into kind of a deep state of mind, almost like a sacred state of mind. You might want to meditate, or if you're on the magical path, do some sort of energy clearing ritual, or what. I'm not really entirely sure what you do. Anyway, so you're going to want to do that, and you're going to want to really get into a deep, sacred, calm, empty state of mind, where you're flowing almost perfectly. Then you're gonna want to get comfortable. Okay, you're not gonna want to have like a cot, for example. This is like I sleep on a cot. You're not gonna want to have a cot with no blankets. That's uncomfortable, and you might get cold and that. And you're also gonna want to have water in case your throat dries out. I have this water right here. Anyway, so you're going to want to have blankets on your bed, or your cot, or the floor, or wherever you're doing your holotropic breath work, even on the couch, and some pillows. You're just going to want to make it a cozy, nice environment, okay? And so then you're going to want to start the holotropic breath work. Maybe before you start the holotropic breath work, actually no, you're just going to start the holotropic breath work right there, okay? So you're going to actually start slow, okay? So you're going to breathe in really deep, and you're not going to forcefully exhale like normal yet. You're just going to let go. So you're going to inhale and then let go a couple of times. And just to get over the bend of how long it takes to get into the holotropic state, you might want to do like 5 rounds of Wim Hof and then start the holotropic breath work to just speed it up a little bit. So you do your 5 rounds of Wim Hof, 5 to 7 rounds, and then you do your holotropic breath work. And when you start the holotropic breath work, you want to breathe in fully, and you want to breathe out fully. So you want to, you're breathing out. So you want to like get all the air out of your lungs and get your lungs full of air. So that way it's completely new oxygen coming in, and completely new air for carbon dioxide to absorb into and get out of your body. So yeah. And then as you're doing this, you're going to want to listen to some kind of music. This is optional. because you can always breathe to a certain rhythm. Like, you might go, and when you do that, the rhythm of doing it will put you in a meditative state of mind, which is very helpful when you're doing the breath work, because that makes it just much deeper. Like, even when I was doing that, my mind gets used to going into a rhythm when I start doing that. So it was like my eyes were slowly closing without my eyelids closing. Not like a blackout, but like a lizard eyes. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So you're gonna want to listen to like shamanic drumming or like whatever kind of music you like, as long as it's repetitive. If it's not repetitive, you're gonna find your breathing is sporadic, and the holotropic breath work won't work as well. You need to find repetitive music that repeats the same beats over and over. Words are okay, but not really great, because words and music can affect the trajectory of your holotropic breath work. And if you find someone who has really deep music, that's okay, but every time you listen to the same song, you might learn the same lesson from your holotropic breath work. So it's best to find music without words, that has a repetitive beat or a repetitive tone that you can breathe to, and it'll work much better. Yeah, so, and you can also use holotropic breath work in another way. You can use it to not just get high, and use it as a form of shadow work and a form of mind altering. You can use holotropic breath work depending on what state of mind you put yourself in and what the intention is when you start going into it, to put yourself in a more sober state. You can use it for many states. You can use prayers and meditations and energy work to change what state holotropic breath work will put you in when you're doing it. I would also like to say, I think I might have already made a video on this, but yeah. Might have already made a video. I might not have published it yet, but anyway. Prayers are literally the same thing as spell casting and magic. You're using words to create a physical outcome or a spiritual outcome through a spiritual means, okay? So, I just need to point that out. Prayers are literally the same thing as spellcasting, except prayers, you're praying, in a proper prayer, you're praying to the source, or basically your higher self, whereas in a spell, you're normally invoking a spirit into your aura to cause some sort of effect. But yeah, they're very similar, okay? So, yeah. So, that is how you optimize your holotropic breath work, but you can also use it to, there's a breath work called Breath of Fire, which is, I don't know, Breath of Fire doesn't have an explanation, except that there is energy that flows that you affect with your breath. There's no explanation beyond that, because there's no way a breathing technique can affect your mind for 4 hours, like it did mine. It was the strangest feeling of loneliness, or not loneliness, but aloneness, and at the same time, not being alone. Even though no one was there, I was alone, but I wasn't alone. That's not a shallow statement. I'm not saying, oh, I felt like some sort of presence. That's not what I mean. I mean, I felt alone. I know I was alone, but I felt maybe some form of deviated oneness. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share, and leave a like. Oh yeah, I already said that, and hit the bell icon, because the next video I'm going to make is going to be about sacred geometry, or possibly about aerokinesis. I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, bye. I'm going to assume most of you ended the video there, but for those of you who didn't end the video there, you can use frankincense oil. You can consume a high amount of frankincense oil. Not like a huge amount, not like a whole bottle, but a whole bottle like this. about a bottle this big, a whole bottle like this. Not like a Coke bottle or anything. But this is psychoactive, and it induced a trip that was... I think I made a video on psychedelic. I never published the video on psychedelic frankincense. But anyway, frankincense, if you about 15 minutes before you do your holotropic breath work, that will definitely induce the visuals, okay? And this by itself will definitely induce visuals, so I know it'll induce visuals combined with holotropic breath work. That'll be very... be careful. Anyway, so yeah, frankincense is awesome, holotropic breath work is awesome.